Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by 8 Sleep. This is the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. The 8 Sleep Pod 3 cover fits right over your mattress like a fitted sheet and brings heating and cooling tech that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. On today's show, Mel Kiper has updated his 2024 NFL Draft Big Board. Given that Mel typically gets some good info from NFL teams, good time to go through the big board and see who could make some sense specifically for the Cowboys. Now, this is Mel's top 25. If you want me to do one specifically for the Dallas Cowboys, then like today's video right now. Every person that likes it indicates to me, hey, this is something I should invest my time in, and kind of tweaking it specifically for Dallas. All right, the top 5, look, these guys just aren't going to be there for the Cowboys. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, top 10 locks. Drake May is going to go early. Brock Bowers ain't going to get down to you. Joe Alt will not get down there to you. Dallas Turner will not get down there to you. Troy Fautanu, though, he might be there. Now, Mel's higher on him than I am, but I would have Troy on my top 25 pretty easily. The known 30 visits so far for Troy Fautanu out of Washington. The Bengals at 18, the Steelers at 20, the Cowboys at 24, and the Ravens at 30. This looks like a range to me that he's going to go early top half, but will be around. Like the Ravens bring him in, I was surprised by. Did they want to trade up for him? Or, given the fact that all 3 teams don't really could use left tackle, but could also use a guard or a right tackle, could he be viewed a little bit less in league circles? I liked what I saw from him at Washington. I have a kind of first, second round cheater grade on him, but it's going to be one of the earlier ones in there. There's a lot of good things I thought he did for the Huskies. It's actually a late first ring as I look at my notes here. You know, Dalton Reisner, Tristan Wirfs, Chris Lindstrom, athletic comps here. 34-inch arms. I would be very satisfied, phrasing, if he was the first-round pick for the Dallas Cowboys. So keeping it realistic, i.e. not Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Joe Alt, who is your dream first-round pick for the Dallas Cowboys? Sound off in the comments section right now. Another player I'm not as high on, J.C. Latham. I just worry about how he moves well enough. If he's there in round 1, though, maybe you try him at left guard. I think that would be a path for the Cowboys to consider. Even though he was a right tackle at Alabama, I would assume they're going to give Terrence Steele 1 more year, but we'll see how he plays this upcoming season. I think he's gone in the end, by the way. All right, rapid fire here on some other names. Latu out of UCLA. Medical concerns abound. If he's there, it's because of medical. Otherwise, he went top half. Quinyon Mitchell, I'd be pretty shocked if he got there for the Cowboys. He's going to be a top 20-ish pick, I suspect. J.J. McCarthy could go as high as 4. Probably will go top 15, so not going to bother there. And then a name I am super intrigued by, Olu Fashanu out of Penn State, who you can kind of track those consensus boards. He's kind of sliding a little bit. And I don't really know why. Maybe that knee injury he had at the end of 2022 that kind of carried into this year a little bit. You kind of see the pad / the brace on there was bothering him more than he let on. I don't think he's a premier run blocker, but he is a great athlete who mirrors incredibly well. I would be over the moon if he's going to be a top 10 or close to top 10 player for me in this year's class. That is my dream pick for the Cowboys. I would love to get Olu Fashanu in round 1. So let's say you can magically make it so one of these 2 players falls to the Cowboys in round 1. Who would it be? O for Olu Fashanu, T for Troy Fautanu out of Washington. Go vote in the comment section right now, O or T. A couple of wide receivers here. I think Mel's a bit high on Xavier Worthy. I'm not as high on him. I think the lack of size is a concern. Brian Thomas, though, I think will be gone before the Cowboys pick. Maybe he slides, and that would be a value pick to consider. But Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State, I think he's gone early, But again, I think he's a better version of Latham. Could be a right tackle or a left guard for you. Terrion Arnold, I doubt gets to you, but I think that's about the right where I'm going to have him on my board too at 20. Same with Jared Verse, or 19. At 20 is Jared Verse, excuse me. Among the better defensive prospects this year, it's kind of not a great early defensive class, but if they slide, names to consider from a BPA perspective. Today's show is made possible by 8 Sleep. Did you know that sleep science shows in order to sleep our best, our body temperature has to drop in the early and middle parts of sleep and then rise in the morning? The 8 Sleep Pod cover will automatically improve your sleep by adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet is and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed by as low as 55 and up to 110 degrees. You don't need it quite that high or maybe that low, but you have the option to do it. There's no better way to improve your day-to-day life than better sleep. And the easiest way to do that is with the 8 Sleep Pod 3 cover. Start the new year right and invest in the rest you deserve with the 8 Sleep Pod. In addition to keeping the perfect temperature all night long, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just a month on the pod. So go to 8sleep.com/chatsports to get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Start the new year right and invest in the rest you deserve with the 8 Sleep Pod. Number 21, Cooper DeJean. He had his pro day on Monday. Kind of funny. He tested the exact same way he was supposed to, and people went, wow, he's a riser. He's knocking out of the top 15 now. He probably will. Mel likes Tyler Guyton a good amount. I am a little bit scared by him. There are mechanical things I think he has to improve on. I think he has to get better at to become a better just blocker in the NFL. I think you have to be patient. This is a defensive end turned offensive tackle. I think the footwork and leverage and just kind of throwing his hands around has got to be organized. But you don't find almost 6'8", 34-inch arm, 322-pound lineman who move like he does. So it's an upside play. There's a lot of upside there. Cowboys didn't meet with Nate Wiggins, by the way, he's number 23 on Mel's board. I don't know if they're going to go premium corner pick. Wiggins is skinny. That will raise concerns for teams, but he's very fluid and fast. I'm a big fan of his game. Byron Murphy at number 24 here on the board. Another player that I'm actually a pretty good-sized fan of. Probably coming right around the same range for me. It's would they take defensive tackles in back-to-back picks? I've made jokes before. Mel tends to change his 25th guy a lot. Last week it was TJ Tampa. Now it's Xavier Legette. He's a good player. He's not, and I thought I'm higher than most on him. He is not a top 25 player for me in this year's class. I think Mel is missing some guys, especially ones who could specifically make sense for the Cowboys in round 1. We'll get to some of those names and some even darker horse names. But if you haven't already, please subscribe. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV for more free Cowboys videos, including plenty of draft conversation. First up for me is, and these are not ranked in any order, it's Amarius Mims out of Georgia. I think Tyler Guyton is raw. I think he needs a lot more adjustments and development, etc. I don't think Amarius Mims has those same types of concerns and troubles. I think he's just inexperienced. Medical red flags there, but he's almost 6'8", 340 pounds, 36-inch arms. When he's played, he's been awesome. He's been very good. It's a matter of, does he continue to stay healthy and continue to grow? Graham Barton is next up here out of Duke. He has played some center. I think that a decent comp here for him in kind of a similar draft range is Frank Ragnow, a bigger-sized center who is a fantastic athlete. At times, on the ground, a little bit too much for me, though. Jackson Powers Johnson, also not in Mel's top 25. I will make note, in general here. Mel doesn't like centers. He doesn't put them in his top 25. He doesn't like putting them in the first round. He's never really valued that position. The biggest thing for JPJ, the film is really good, has played every spot except left tackle, that's very valuable, is medical concerns. I've heard hip, been some mentions of shoulders, and had the hamstring at the Senior Bowl. Got to vet the medical. He might be there for you at 24. So will the Cowboys go offensive line in round 1? Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and sound off with your predictions for me in the comments section. Putting Darius Robinson on this list because he was a pre-draft visit for the Dallas Cowboys. I actually have a comp you guys will remember quite well. You should. Jason Hatcher. Is he a defensive end? Is he a DT? I think in the end he's a 5 technique. He's not a premier athlete for a defensive end, but he's pretty darn good for a DT. He's just light for a DT. So he's kind of a tweener, but you don't really have that tweener right now playing well on your roster. Some other dark horses, maybe it's a receiver, A.D. Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, 2 guys I like. Jordan Morgan, I think might be a guard for teams like Dallas because of arm length concerns. Kingsley Suamataia could be kind of like your disaster. All the tackles are gone. We'll take him instead. Zach Frazier, possible trade down option. Chop Robinson, Johnny Newton among some of the better defensive tackles and edges not mentioned. And then Edgerrin Cooper, also a trade down option. Because I think he goes between your first round pick and your second